we're going to take you behind the scenes of what it's been like for us on YouTube for the past 3 months.
As it turns out, growing a small channel on YouTube is really challenging. And so we kind of want to give our honest perspective because there are lots of videos focused on how fast you can grow your channel, but most of those are from creators whose channel is just talking about, let's see how fast I can grow this channel, which is very different than trying to grow a channel off of a specific content niche like, I don't know, SUV camping and travel.
Yeah, we've learned a lot over the past few months, and we want to tell you about some of these lessons, the good, the bad, and sometimes the ugly.
We're Dev and Phil from Creatives en Route, two budget travelers who love exploring our home country in our converted SUV camper and taking a few international trips along the way. Join us as we discover hidden gems, eat delicious local cuisine, and just have fun as we experience life in our SUV camper.
I'll kick things off and tell you that some things are easier and some things are just as challenging than whenever we first started. One of the things that's easier, I think, is being able to talk on camera and it sound a lot more natural.
Yeah, I think in the beginning we had a lot of the kind of teacher voice going on or just felt nervous in front of the camera. And honestly, a lot of those nerves have dissipated over the past few months.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing that has gotten easier is definitely in the editing process. Whenever we were new to this, we had never really done like intensive video editing before, and so there was a learning curve with some of the software, as well as being able to tell a compelling story with the kinds of shots that we were getting.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
One of the things that is still a bit of a challenge for us is really in planning out our videos and making sure that the content that we're getting as we're filming is going to yield kind of that compelling story whenever we piece it all together at the end.
Definitely still a challenge. We found that if we don't really talk it through and make sure we're on the same page and we have that story in mind that we want, the viewers to take out of our experience, that we just don't tell it the way that it happened because we miss different things. So I think that we both realized that being on top of the planning process is pretty important. The second one has been probably the most challenging thing that we've experienced over these past few months, and that is that the algorithm can just be really unpredictable. I think that we were feeling really confident because we were seeing such steady growth. Each day we were growing by 35 watch hours. We were gaining 8 to 10 subscribers every day. And we were feeling really good about that just because we'd seen it grow so much over the course of a little over 2 months. And we were feeling like that would continue to pick up. And then all of a sudden, dun, 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 it was overnight, the clock struck midnight and our views plummeted. Our impressions plummeted and we woke up and we were like, what the heck happened? And so I did a bunch of research on it, and it seems like this is honestly pretty common for people to experience. There are just times of year that impressions plummet. Sometimes that's just kind of the algorithm refiguring out who to send your videos to or who to put your videos in front of. That does not mean that it's not devastating though when you check your analytics and see that.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns in this process. And so we weren't really clear about why those things were happening, just that they were happening. And we had this really sudden drop off. And like Devin said, there's a lot of emotional attachment because each of these videos that you're putting out, you have a kind of personal tie to. And so whenever we'd put out a video and it performed really well, that was really great. And then other videos did not. But whenever the whole channel kind of took a deep dive, that was pretty tough.
It was not just a video. We had seen videos all of a sudden, your views are climbing and then all of a sudden they drop off because it's kind of reached its max capacity, I guess, for that time. But our channel was seeing steady growth. We were seeing lots of views kind of spread out across our videos. And then all of a sudden, to break it down a little bit specifically, all of a sudden on September 6th at midnight, our views just crashed. So we went from having, I think it was 950-ish views every 48 hours to having 200. So that was a huge drop off. And that stayed the same for about a week and a half. until we put out another video, which was our last video that we put out. And then we saw a huge spike a couple days after we posted that video, and then it went back down. So we are still figuring out the algorithm, but those unpredictable changes, you really have to have that like kind of mindset and like mental tenacity, I guess, to just like stick through that and not let that get you down too much.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be changes with your channel, and that should be a natural thing. I think we're just learning about some of those cycles because it's the first time we've been through them.
Yeah, absolutely. But if you're experiencing it, you're not alone. If you're thinking about starting a YouTube, if you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, then just know that it's probably going to happen.
Yep.
This kind of goes directly into the next one, which is that analytics watching is very addictive. And I think Phil would say that I'm definitely the one addicted to it.
Oh, yeah. I really try to be hands-off with a lot of our video analytics, and Devin is the one who really watches it. And I think that that can be really helpful sometimes, but then sometimes not so much.
Yeah, it can definitely get into the situation where I let it impact my mood, or I directly correlate the value of what is happening to where the specific analytics are. And like with most things, it's just not even. Like even when you're experiencing steady growth over the course of a full day, there are going to be hours that are just down, and you really can't let that get to you. I think it can also lead to analysis paralysis, really, which is just you don't really know what to even do because you're so overwhelmed by this consumption of analytics. And so I am learning to set better boundaries with the analytics.
After looking at like all these analytics and some of the changes that we've gone through as a channel, we're learning a lot more about what we can control and the things that we can't. So some of the things that we can control are the kind of content that we're producing and making sure that it's stuff that we want to watch, but also hopefully things that you all will want to watch and find interesting.
Yeah, it's important for us to challenge ourselves to get better and to grow with every video that we put out. And so that is something I think that we're really trying to lean into, is controlling our ability to grow, like personally. We are working toward bettering those videos each time and making sure that we are, again, telling this cohesive story of what's going on in our lives, what's going on in our travels, and what SUV camping is like. And so I think those are the ways that we are able to like control the pieces or work on the pieces that we can control.
Yeah, and even though we can't make sure that people will always find each video interesting, what we can also do is to try to put one out every week so that, you know, our library of videos are continuing to grow, and hopefully on down the road, even if it's not now, in the future, somebody will find that helpful.
All right, I mentioned this next one earlier a little bit with just all of the analytics stuff. But the reality is that to grow on YouTube and with most things, it really requires persistence in order to have success. In order for things to get better, to grow, to learn, you really just have to choose to persist. Even when things are hard, even when it feels like, you know, those analytics have taken a sudden downturn, it's really important, I think, that we choose to just keep going and have that kind of like fighter spirit about us that says, even when the going gets tough, I'm going to choose to just keep doing what I can do.
Yeah, it's really easy, and I think I've fallen into this trap myself, is to compare where our channel is at with where channels who've been out producing content for 5 years or more, where they're at, and wanting to kind of see this sort of rocket of growth without realizing that probably they went through a lot of these same things that we did, and they've just continued to push on, and that's what has really gotten them to where they are.
Mm-hmm. Most people don't find success overnight. And I know a lot of people talk about like, oh, this is going viral or virality. Those are usually not the people that see the most success. It's usually the people who have like slowly built things over time. The same is true about any type of business, really.
Yeah. So hopefully things like this also just invite you into what this journey has been like for us and bring you along with it. So maybe you want to keep sticking around.
Absolutely.
So the last thing that we've learned that we want to share is that YouTube really is a community and a social media platform. And so connecting with an audience and with that community has been probably the best thing to have happened.
Yeah, I think anytime we get a notification that there's a new comment, it's so exciting because we feel like we're getting to connect with people who have similar interests and who are investing in our story and in our art and in our lives. And so it's just been really fun to get to connect with people all across the world. And we're so appreciative of the kind, sweet comments that people leave. I mean, honestly, seriously, they make our day.
Yeah, we love hearing people who have found our videos helpful and are starting to go out and explore on their own, or who've been to some of the places that we have been and want to share about their great experiences too. So it's just been a really neat way to connect with people, and a cool way to share part of that story.
Yeah. So we want to hear from you. Please leave a comment. Let us know who you are, where you're from, what you find helpful in our videos or what you connect with, just because we really, really enjoy that and we want to get to know you too.
So yeah, leave a comment, like this video, and subscribe to our channel to follow along.
Yeah, absolutely. We have lots of adventures planned. We're really excited about what that means for us, and we're really excited to bring you along and to kind of make sure that we're doing a great job telling the story of the places that we're going and producing content that is also helpful to our subscribers.
Yeah. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh jeez.
Oh geez, Vern. It's a bunch in your folder.
I think I hit record.
Yes, you did. You definitely
Okay.
hit record. I know. You should probably check and make sure you hit record.
Okay, fine. You're falling apart.
We are going to kick it off with the things that we're going to kick it off.